Hi, my name is Jeff Chancellor, and I'm Director of Education, Training, and Research for Eckels. Eckels is a provider of funeral service products worldwide, and in the course of my business, I've had the opportunity to experience cremation in more than a dozen countries on 3 continents, and I find it extremely fascinating the difference between the process, the ritual, and the family participation. Here in the United States, more and more families are choosing cremation as a form of disposition, yet there's not a lot of involvement in the process. Cremation is often viewed by a family as an easy alternative to a traditional funeral service, and most of the activities are being performed back of the house, so to speak. If we compare in the hotel industry or the restaurant industry, the front of the house and the back of the house, there's a very different experience between the employee and the client. And it's the same with funeral service. If I look at an instant cremation in the United States, very often the remains would go from the place of death into a combustible container, then be transported to a very industrial site where the cremation will occur in quite an industrial setting. After the cremation, the cremated remains or the bones will be pulverized to fit inside a specific container that was perhaps designed by an engineer or an architect to fit around a niche or a space for the ashes to go. Many cultures believe that there's spirit or mana in the bones, and so our style of cremation may be objectionable to First Nations individuals, Pacific Islanders, and of course many of the cultures from Asia. If we look at how cremation is performed in Japan, as an example, it's very different. The cremation process has a lot of interaction from the family, and the cremation process will happen more in the front of the house. Now, as an example, the family may load the remains into the cremation chamber and be there to press the button to begin the process. Following cremation, as the cremation chamber has cooled down and as the cremated remains have cooled down, the family will take the cremated remains with chopsticks and one bone at a time load those bones into the urn without any processing. So it is a significant reality check for that family and a lot of participation. And when you consider the size of a human adult femur or other long bone, the urns were designed to fit the cremated remains. The urns weren't designed to fit a building that was designed to have the maximum number of niches. If we compare the cremation that's happening in the United States as well with regions in Taiwan, the cremation may happen scheduled at a very special time, and as soon as the cremation is finished, the family will pick through the bones looking for just specific bones that have meaning to take for permanent memorialization, leaving perhaps as much as 80 or 90% of the cremated remains behind, where they would be mingled with other cremated remains and permanently disposed of in a cemetery or ossuary. So when we start to look at cremation, the difference between the United States and the rest of the world is a very drastic difference. And I would suggest any family and any practitioner who's looking for cremation or adding cremation to their business to broaden the concept of cremation, bring it to the front of the house and involve family participation so that there's really no mystery about the process and there is an opportunity for confronting the reality of the death and participating in a ritual that has some meaning.